Kawasaki KRX. Do an install on this one. So the first thing we need to do is pop out the seats, and then we'll start pulling out that center console right there and the top so we can start running all our lines. Seat's pretty self-explanatory. You just pull up on this little lever right here and the seat comes out. I don't like to fight things, but you could probably fight around the seats, but I'm going to pull the seats. They're 14mm bolts. There's 2 there, and you got to slide the seat forward, and there's 2 more underneath the seat. Next step is to pop out 1, 2, 3, 4, and those 2 screws right there. Pop those out and that dash comes out. And once you pop this out, you got to reach around there and pull out any switches you have. There's usually just a tab at the top that you either press down on or pull up on and to pull them out. The way these panels have to come off is you got to take this one off first, then this one, because they all kind of overlap each other. This one overlaps right there. This one overlaps right there. This is a 5mm or number 5 Allen wrench, or not 5mm, and then just 3 push pins on the side. There should be 2 Allens, 1 and 2. So I'm just gonna, you could probably work without getting all 4 of these off and just kind of, but I pulled the whole thing off because it wasn't that big of a deal. These were torqued really tight, so be careful you don't strip those. It's a number 3 screwdriver. And then there's one on this side. And these 2. There's 1 more screw in the screw or cup holder holding this thing down. And this just comes right out. Now for this centerpiece by the gear shifter, you got 2 push pins in there that I've taken and loosened up. There's one there, there, and 2 on top, same on the opposite side. Pull all those out. One is pried between here, so you got to kind of go down and then up to get it out, just like that. So I ran the coax cable on the driver's side down the tunnel. You can see right here. And you got to run it just slightly up because you got to go through that hole, and then it'll come back down through the other hole that we drill, and I'll show you that. And out that little hole that I drilled right there. Just like that. So I just put a little hole right there so it comes out, so it's not pinched, and now I'm going to run it up along here and up into the cage. So there it is coming out the hole. Now I'm just going to use some P-clips to put it all up and put it in place. You can see I just put a couple, there's a P-clip there. Just ran it right up the center, there's a P-clip there. I ran the coax right up the roll bar. I put mounted the antenna, the swivel antenna mount right there. And it's got the high gain antenna on it. Show where the antenna ground wire goes, so it goes right on the bottom there. And I just ran it down the pillar, and I just grounded it out right there on the heat shield. So now I sent a wire fish up that hole, which comes out right there. So I'm just going to wire fish my headset wire through that hole to make it a little bit cleaner going down the A-pillar. See how much cleaner that looks? So you can't see the wire. And I'm just going to stuff the wire down inside that hole right there and run it over to my center where my comm will be. So this guy wanted the driver hole mount PTT. You can mount it on the front like this, but I prefer it kind of on the back, so when you spin your hand around, you can you don't hit the button. So I like to choke. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. I like to choke this all the way up, place it on the back, and wrap it around. So I wrap it around just through that thing, really, really tight. Put this up like that. And there's just barely enough room to get that fed through there. And once you feed that through there, it sticks on tight. You might have to pull up on this a little bit to get it in. So it looks just like that. And I just put one zip tie around it, just like that. And that zip tie just holds, so it's not tugging on the back of this wire. You want it tugging on right here where it connects. So I've just got a connection right there, tied off, and I put another zip tie down here below the steering wheel, and that'll keep it so you can, when you spin this thing, you can see that it doesn't get doesn't pull on it. Now that I've got the in-dash out, I need to drill 3 holes, and the coax hole is about 2 inches up and 2 inches over from the left as we're looking at it. Now with this surface cleaned up really good, you pull these little stickies off and then stick it down to it and press and hold for about 20 seconds or so, and then that should be in place. Because it's the KRX and it's not very far, I've actually chopped some of the, we give you like 7 feet of power wire. You don't have to cut yours, I just did, and like I said, I loom everything, so when I pass it through these holes, it doesn't have any chance of chafing the wire against any of these ports. Went ahead and put just 2 faceplate screws in here so I can manage, not have to fight this moving while I'm trying to attach all the switches and stuff. And then I'm going to start putting everything back together. Now for the finishing touch, just really easy. Turn the torque down on your drill and just barely snug these in. They don't have to go in very tight and they'll grip tight. You just don't want to strip them out. The antenna mounted and the Coax Run goes underneath the tunnel there like it did in the video. It's time to do an antenna test. I'm going to be looking where this says COM-DB90. When you press and hold the PTT without any headsets attached, you want that number, see that 01? I'm going to release for a minute. See, it popped up to 7 for a second, down to 01. You want that to be less than 15, so this is good. This is a good location. If that's a 15 or above, you need to loosen your mount and move your antenna. So you'll want to move the antenna up or down, or maybe on a different bar. And sometimes it only takes a movement of about 1 inch, 2 inches, and other times you have to fight a little bit more and you have to move it to a different bar or possibly on the other side. But most of the time you only have to move it 1 inch or 2.